Hello and welcome. My name is J. Plunky Branch of the group Plunky and Oneness, formerly Oneness of Juju. This is a lecture seminar entitled The History of Black Music, a Living Continuum, presented as a thumbnail sketch in 10 chronological segments. Part 1, Black Music Origins. Africa, the first music conservatory. Black music begins long before America, long before ships, long before borders. It begins in Africa, in villages and kingdoms where music was not a pastime but a lifeline. In traditional African culture, music was an integral part of almost everything that was done. It taught the children. It timed the crops. It steeled the warriors. Music sanctified the rituals. It carried the news from village to village before any written word appeared. Music was communal. Everyone played, everyone sang, everyone moved. But the griots, the West African musician, poet, historians, were special music masters and perhaps the first rappers. The griots, the keepers of memory, carried a special charge to hold the history in their mouths and deliver it to the next generation. That tradition is the first root of everything that followed. African people created the world's first families of instruments, early instruments of all kinds. They created membranophones, drums with animal skins stretched across carved wood. Membrane means skin, hence they're called membranophones. Another class of instruments are called aerophones, horns and flutes made from bamboo, bone, reed, played with air, so we call them aerophones. Africans created chordophones, instruments that could play more than one note at a time, stringed instruments whose plucked guts could summon whole landscapes. And Africans made idiophones, instruments whose body created the sound, instruments like bells, the kalimba, and the shekere, whose very bodies produced song. There are three characteristics common to most African music. 1. Polyrhythms. Poly is a prefix that means many, so polyrhythms means multiple rhythms played together, woven together. Polyrhythms was the African way of understanding time itself. Number 2, improvisation. Improvisation means to create something new on the spot. Creating new musical expressions was an African response to the moment. The third characteristic is the use of high energy. For African musicians, the use of high energy was a vehicle to commune with the spirits. These musical inventions and conventions would follow our people across oceans. Part 2. Arrival in the Americas, before and after 1619. Africans arrived in the Western Hemisphere first as explorers, travelers who touched these shores long before Columbus and left behind carvings, trade goods, and traces of culture. But the great forced migration began in 1619, when Africans were brought as enslaved labor. They brought with them skills essential to the new colonies: ironwork, farming, woodcraft, and they brought an unbreakable musical intelligence. Enslavers banned African languages and outlawed drums, fearing communication and rebellion. But black people adapted. They made instruments from the land. They played rhythms on tools, fences, and their own bodies. They kept their musical heritage alive. They were allowed to sing while working, as overseers found the labor more productive and easier to monitor from a distance. Thus, the first music born on American soil came from those fields, the slave work songs. They also sang the Bible stories they were taught, songs like Go Down Moses, Steal Away, Wade in the Water. These pieces were devotional on the surface and revolutionary beneath. These songs became the genre now known as spirituals. Part 3, From Spirituals to the Blues, the Birth of the Individual Voice. After 1865, when emancipation reshaped but did not repair black life, the music reshaped itself too. The collective cry of the spirituals gave way to a singular voice, the blues. The blues was the first great I in African American music. Not we shall, but I woke up this morning. It was one person telling their truth, raw, unfiltered, unafraid. Rooted in African forms, shaped by American realities, the blues became the emotional blueprint of black life. From Delta shacks to northern cities, the blues carried the story of a people finding themselves in a land still committed to their invisibility. Part 4, Jazz. Imagination takes flight. At the turn of the 20th century, New Orleans birthed jazz. Africa, the Caribbean, Europe, and American cooking in one pot. Jazz was the announcement that black creativity was not only soulful, but intellectual, improvisational, cosmopolitan. Louis Armstrong gave the solo voice. Duke Ellington built black orchestral worlds. Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, and Thelonious Monk turned the music inward and upward. John Coltrane took it into the realm of prayer. Jazz is what happens when freedom meets discipline, when memory meets imagination. Part 5, The Great Migration and the Rise of Gospel. Millions of African Americans moved north, bringing the South with them, their food, their traditions, their church. Out of this came gospel, the sacred child of spirituals and blues. Thomas Dorsey fused the sanctified with the sorrowful. Mahalia Jackson lifted that fire into the heavens. Gospel became the spiritual engine of the civil rights movement, proof that joy was not naivety, it was strategy. Part 6, Soul, the sound of a people becoming visible. By the 1950s and 60s, gospel's fire and blues's ache merged into soul. Ray Charles secularized the sacred. Sam Cooke refined the longing. Aretha gave the music its thunder. Marvin Gaye and Curtis Mayfield turned social crisis into symphonic therapy. Soul music said, "We are here in full color, full heart, full humanity." Part 7, Funk, Rhythm as Resistance. James Brown hit the one and everything changed. Funk brought the African drum back to the center of the universe. Sly Stone brought the psychedelic rainbow. George Clinton brought the mothership. Earth, Wind, and Fire brought the celestial. Funk was a philosophy. The groove is God, and God is the groove. Joy as protest, rhythm as rebellion. Part 8, The Black Arts Movement. Art as revolutionary practice. The Black Arts Movement demanded that black art serve black liberation. From Amiri Baraka's Fire to Sun Ra's Cosmic Sermon, from John Coltrane's Cries to the AACM's Experiments. This movement declared black creativity is not decorative, it is necessary. Part 9. Hip-hop, the new griot tradition. In the Bronx, children of the diaspora created a new form, hip-hop. Turntables replaced drums. Rhyme patterns replaced folk tales. The street corner became the new village square. DJ Kool Herc brought the breaks. Grandmaster Flash brought the craft. Public Enemy brought the analysis. Tupac brought the prophecy. Lauryn Hill brought the soul. Kendrick carries the torch. Hip-hop is the living extension of the griot tradition. News, history, commentary, survival. Part 10. The Continuum. Black music as the world's pulse. From the first African drum through mambo, reggae, Afrobeat to digital production. Black music is the grand archive of our existence. It is how we remember, resist, and rejoice. It is not a footnote to history, it is history. Black music is a living organism, adding verses with every generation.